I tottered up the beach with my bucket of shrimps and announced solemnly to my mum and dad that I was going to be a pilot. Yes, dear, my mum said, before turning back to her book. The years passed, but I never lost sight of my dream. I knew what I wanted to be. After O-levels, the time came to sit down with my careers master and tell him. He stared at me. No pupil of the school had ever chosen flying for a career. What about the civil service, industry, teaching even? That same day, I went to the library and found out what A-level subjects I needed. As I approached the exams, I thought it might be a good idea to have a backup plan, and managed to get a conditional place at university to read aeronautical engineering. However, my dream was still flying. I didn't much care whether I joined the RAF or an airline at that point. All I wanted was to get behind the controls of a plane. My research had shown me that learning to fly for a career in the RAF or the airlines was subsidised. If I joined the RAF, they would pay me to learn. If I went to Hamble College of Air Training, where pilots for the British Overseas Airways Corporation and British European Airways receive their training, I'd be eligible for a £2,000 grant. We had to pay for our keep, but the Hamble course itself was paid for by BOAC, BEA and the government. In the summer of 1966, hedging my bets, I applied to the RAF and to Hamble. The RAF assessment at Biggin Hill in Kent was the first to come up. I was pretty good at mental arithmetic and non-verbal reasoning, two of the skills they would both be looking for, so felt reasonably confident about the exam side of things. Beyond this, I knew the Air Force needed officers with leadership skills, while Hamble was more focused on aptitude, determination, and a desire to follow a long-term career in aviation. At Biggin, I finished my exams early, and feeling rather pleased with myself, handed my paper in. The invigilator asked me if I was feeling all right. Perfectly, yes, thank you. He tapped his watch and tutted. You're not supposed to finish early. The mental arithmetic and non-verbal reasoning papers are set so you shouldn't have enough time to finish them. Still pondering his reply, when my name got called out a short while later, I was already convinced that it was to tell me I was being sent home. I was led into the office of a group captain, who looked like he'd clambered straight out of a Spitfire. He glanced up as I stood in front of his desk. Bannister? Yes, sir. Take a seat. We've been reviewing your assessments. My heart sank. And then he said, have you thought of becoming a navigator? A navigator? I stumbled, cursing myself for handing those papers in. I really want to be a pilot, sir, but if that's all you're able to offer me, of course I'll consider it. No, he said, smoothing one side of his moustache as he glanced up. It's just that you excelled in mental arithmetic and non-verbal reasoning, and we're looking for navigators and think you'd be an exceptional candidate. I said, that's kind of you, sir, but I really, really want to be a pilot. He stared at me for a moment longer, muttered something that didn't exactly sound like approbation, and pulled open a drawer. He rifled through some papers, found what he was looking for, and pushed a white form at me. Very well, he said. Have you ever thought of applying for one of these? I stared at the jumble of words. One of what, sir? A special flying award. I'm sorry, but I don't know what that is. Well, basically, if you apply for it and you're successful, the RAF will sponsor you for pilot training up to PPL standard at a civil training school. I didn't need to be told twice. Yes, thank you. I'd very much like to apply. He nodded. Good, fill it in then. He pushed the form closer. It took me around 15 minutes. When I pushed it back across the desk, he looked up and beamed. I'm pleased to be able to tell you, Bannister, that you've been given a special flying award. He shook my hand. Good show. A few weeks later, I sat my exams at Hamble and was offered a place on a course there as well. But I'd also been offered a place at the RAF Air Training College at Cranwell. And by now my heart was set on a career in the Royal Air Force. In the late 60s, Luton Airport had become home to a number of airlines that were beginning to grow thanks to the recent boom in the package holiday sector. The biggest of them was Britannia Airways, which had recently been equipped with a Bristol Britannia, a magnificent British-designed 4-engine turboprop, by now, mercifully, past its early teething problems. It was 1966,